Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your mowers will practically build themselves. Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Merv. Today we are going to work on another train project. This is one that I never even really knew existed until my friend Mark came across this article. You know, Mark comes up with a lot of great ideas and runs across a lot of really neat things, and it sparks my imagination. So I'm very grateful to have a friend like Mark. And what we were looking at was a train that was run by the Denver and Rio Grande. In fact, it's still run by Amtrak over in Colorado, and it's called the Ski Train. Ski Train, that sounds kind of interesting. Yeah, it's this train that runs from Denver to the ski resorts. I didn't know it existed, but I've always liked the Aspen Gold and that silver combination that D&RG runs. So stick with us today. We are going to look at my build of the D&RG's Ski Train. So the Ski Train started to run in 1940, and it went from Denver up to a place called Winter Park, which was a locally owned ski resort, and it actually ran until 2009. They used many different cars over the years. In fact, some had the four black stripes, some had the single black stripe. With my build, well, I do kind of a combination of the two, and you'll see that here in a minute. So let's get ready to paint a couple of these cars. So I picked this up. You can see it's a pre-owned car for 15 bucks from MRS. Now you guys know why I like to deal with MRS. This is one of those really high quality cars. It already has the pickup on it for lighting, and this has an interior already in it, KD couplers, metal trucks. Yeah, for 15 bucks, pretty decent deal. So I'm going to open this up here in a bit, and we're going to paint the interior because there's no way I'm leaving that interior that color. But speaking of paint, so I've got this B unit that I want to paint up in the Aspen Gold. It's like a Great Northern or something like that. I can't remember what it is, what railroad this is. Anyway, I have no use for it the way it is, so we are going to paint this up in D&RG colors. Okay, so I've got it taped up here, and the color that we are going to use is this, what is it called? True Color paints. I love these because they are, well, not only are they true color, but they are also an enamel. So I have to use a little bit of lacquer thinner with this, which is fine. I love lacquer thinner. So we're going to grab my lacquer thinner, and we're going to load up the gun, and we're going to spray this. So hang on just a second. Okay, so I've got it all masked off, and I'm ready to start spraying, I think. I can get, yeah. I love spraying this stuff. I always thin it out with lacquer thinner. Flashes off quicker that way. I don't know, I just use lacquer thinner for all my enamels, so hold over from the days I painted cars, I guess. Now, with this True Color Aspen Gold that I'm going to be spraying, it is more of the later color of Aspen Gold because, believe it or not, Aspen Gold, well, it varied over the years. Early Aspen Gold is more of a lighter yellow than orange. And later Aspen Gold is more orange than yellow. Well, this one is definitely more orange than yellow, that's for sure. So, and that's fine. You know, the 4-stripe and the 2-stripe is kind of how it varies. The 2-stripe paint scheme versus the 4-stripe. But I did some research online. Actually looked at some videos and saw that there were times when they actually had both of these during crossover from the 4-stripe to the 2-stripe. That they had on the same train, you could find both the lighter and the darker yellow, or Aspen Gold I should say, on there. So there you go, first coat, and we'll get the rest of this sprayed here in just a sec. But you kind of get the general idea. This stuff sprays awesome. I absolutely love this paint, so highly recommended. True Color. So this gives you a little bit better look. So there's the early 4-stripe yellower Aspen Gold, and see how this is much more orange. This is the 2-stripe. I do have some touch up to do on this particular car, and then I do have this old Norfolk and Western that I still have to mask off and paint, but we're going to be using this car as well. So here's how I painted the interior of the rear observation car. Kind of blue carpet with some spots on it, and some brown leather chairs, and some green upholstered chairs, and you know, brown wood top tables, that kind of thing. Here's a little bit closer view, and again, this is really hard to see without a lighted car because my cars are not lit, but you can kind of see the colors through the window, but it's not that critical, not that vital. But I think it's much better than the white interior that they had. So on the dome cars, here's the top level, and you can see how I kind of simulated that funky carpet and went ahead and did the brown seats. And I got this information from some photos of the interior of some of the D&RG cars. When I took it apart, I took this opportunity to polish up the clear piece. You can see kind of on the left, there's a little bit of overspray from some red that somebody had painted at one time. So I used some like 2000 grit sandpaper, sanded this down, put some Future on it, and nice and clear again. I did have a couple of problems with some of the wheel trucks, and on this one particular, you can see I had to make a new plug to anchor the wheel truck into the body. And I decided I wanted to go with body mount couplers on this. I wanted it to be a little bit more realistic in its operation. So you can see here on the bottom is the wheel truck that it came with that big long coupler on it, which it does need. But I went ahead and I chopped those off, and I decided to go with some KD couplers. And you can see here's the hardware I was using for it, the mounting boxes, the springs, and in the upper right you can see the extended shank couplers that I went with on this particular build. Again, wanting to make it a little more realistic. And here it is, installed and ready to go. I put some, I don't know what they're called, they're those accordion pieces that go between the cars. I had made some out of resin to kind of at least simulate them. They're not going to be connected, unfortunately, but it'll be fairly close. So here's the first car that I've got. This Glenwood Springs, and as I recall, this is a diner car. This one I didn't get the decal on it, and I don't have a name on it yet. However, this is the California. This was one of the dome cars that they did have on one of the ski trains, and this is the Utah, which was a dining dome car that they had on one of the ski trains as well. So these are correct. And then this is Tail End Charlie car, and I can't remember the name on this one, but it is one of the ones they used on the ski train. So now we're going to watch my engine, which is a old Athearn blue box. It's the old rubber band drive. So you can kind of hear, I've got to get some things oiled up in here, and it's a real jerky operation. And this is from the 1960s. my F. To do this right, of course, I've got to make some modifications to the engines. I still need to get an E6B, which was kind of the heating. It had a heating unit for the whole train. Here it is in kind of a panoramic view. You can get an idea. There's not too many cars here. You know, my 6 cars and my 2 engines. So there you have this year's ski train. We're going to update this as we go on next year. Let's take a look at the layout now, our changes. All right, so we're going to show you what the next steps are in the shelf layout I have out here in the doghouse. Behind me is where the train board used to be, that 4-foot by 4-foot piece. So I've taken that down. It took me about 30 minutes to get that out, and we'll kind of show you what the plan is. It's going to be interesting to see how it evolves and how it turns out. So I'm going to turn here, and you can see here's the 4-foot by 4-foot train board that I had, the one that I put the different some of the different seasons on. It's the one that I had the Christmas show done in 2018 on. Okay, I'm probably going to be getting rid of this for many reasons. This whole area is going to evolve. One of the problems that I had is as I would run trains around here, well, if there was a problem with the track or a derailment or something, because this thing was 4 feet, I couldn't reach across very well to not only clean the track, but to take care of any things that needed to be taken care of. So this new area is, there we go. It is 3 feet. It is 3 feet wide instead of 4 feet. And the length sideways is still the 4 feet from here to here. So what I'm probably going to go ahead and do, I've put this here just for some idea. This is the 1-inch foam bead board, I guess is what it's called, but the styrofoam board. And I'm going to get some more of that, and that seems to fit really good right there. And so I'm going to put a 3-foot by 4-foot piece here, and then I'm going to build my my tunnel and my mountain here in the corner. That will give me a whole lot better access. And then we're going to do some other things here in the middle. We'll talk about that as we get to it. But I just wanted to show you folks how this looked at this point in the game, because it's going to change drastically really soon. So I'm pretty excited about it. Stick with us on this, and let's see what we turn out with, huh? So here's the space I got to fill, and we'll see what I put in here next month. I'm formulating a tunnel and some other things. So stick with us, folks, and thanks for joining us this month. See you soon.